It rises like a fortress, with cliffs hundreds of meters high, guarding an otherworldly landscape.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the areas in the world we've delved into the least.
We've seen 3 snakes so far, which isn't a lot, but it is early in the morning, it's hot. I'm sure there's hundreds around us right now.
Number 50, Bouvet Island, South Atlantic. The fact that it took nearly 250 years to get a good image tells you a lot. First seen in 1739, Bouvet Island in the South Atlantic has been a constant source of intrigue. The island is less than 20 square miles and rests on top of an inactive volcano. It's also mostly covered by a large glacier, which has made it hard to fully explore. As if that wasn't enough, there's only one simple point of access on the entire island, and there's only one spot wide enough for an aircraft to properly land. While a weather station resides there today, the only thing we've truly been able to learn about is its climate, leaving the rest of the isle's secrets unexplored. Number 49, Franz Josef Land, Arctic. Global conflicts can play a large role in how much an area is observed. Franz Josef Land was first discovered in the 19th century, and since then, only a few of the Arctic's 192 islands have been looked into.
Franz Josef Land, the most northerly archipelago in the entire world.
A few expeditions took place shortly afterwards, but everything changed following the beginning of the Cold War. It became a base for the Soviet Union, and until the 1990s, outside contact was heavily limited.
Franz Josef Land itself has this compelling story. It's a place where the biological diversity is not that high.
Even today, it's still a militarized zone, and civilian-led visits have dwindled significantly. A new isle in the archipelago was found in 2019, uncovering yet another mystery for us to decode.
Up here is a true wilderness, where I can experience the sense of freedom, the sense of dreams and possibilities.
Number 48, Kerguelen Islands, sub-Antarctic.
On the 6th of January 1774, man finally set foot on this beach, which had remained inviolate since the beginning of time.
With how connected we are today, it feels impossible that any stretch of land can be truly isolated. Yet that's exactly the case for the Kerguelen Islands, also known as the Desolation Islands. The nearest inhabited area is some 2,000 miles away, which is only one of the factors making it so hard to learn more about these islands.
These vast empty spaces seem never to have known a living presence.
The sea surrounding Kerguelen is incredibly rough, and the weather is consistently harsh. Both of these make the idea of exploration unappealing to most people. Even with scientists and researchers there around the clock, there's still much left to be learned about and investigated.
A group of scientists make up the small community and are the island's only residents.
Number 47, Nunavut, Canada. It's sometimes easy to forget just how large Canada is, and how much of it has yet to be fully delved into. The northernmost area, Nunavut, has an incredibly sparse population compared to its vast size. Its proximity to the Arctic has resulted in constant frigid temperatures, causing the few people who do live there to primarily remain in the few metropolitan areas. Much like other areas located near the poles, there are often 24-hour-long days and nights. The unforgiving weather combined with the sheer size has made it impossible to fully research it. There's no telling how much animal life, flora, and other aspects of nature we have left to learn about there, or if we'll ever be able to. Number 46, Meghalaya Caves, India. A location doesn't have to be entirely unpopulated for it to be considered unexplored. Deep within India are the caves of Meghalaya, which are some of the longest in the entire world. Their seemingly unending lengths have made them a popular spot for brave tourists and researchers alike.
Now, exploring a cave is a thrilling experience because you're going into the unknown.
Yet out of the 1,580 caves currently discovered, less than 1,000 of them have been properly traversed, with the longest coming in at just over 100,000 feet. There's no telling how many artifacts, life forms, and other valuable resources are tucked away within their walls.
It's extremely exhilarating to step into unknown territory.
Number 45, Plutonion at Hierapolis, Turkey. The Plutonion at Hierapolis in modern-day Turkey was once a religious site where countless animal sacrifices took place. And that's not even the craziest part. It was constructed on top of a cave that emits a deadly gas, killing both their offerings and some people that dared to get close. It was destroyed in 6 AD by an earthquake, and now all that remains are the ruins of the once formidable building. Even in the modern era, the fumes pose a risk to the surrounding animal populations. Due to this, researchers still can't safely go in and observe it, leaving it just outside our grasp. Number 44. The Padmanabhaswamy Temple, India. While most unexplored areas achieve that status by being hard to access, others get it by being prohibited altogether. India's Padmanabhaswamy Temple is also home to countless amounts of jewels, gold, and other valuable items. For the most part, it's open to the public, save for one chamber. Vault B is believed to have not been opened since the 1880s due to the religious beliefs of those running the temple, with many believing it would be a bad omen.
They were decorated with cobras. This is a sign of danger.
Despite several attempts to legally force them into opening the doors, each one has fallen flat. With all of the extravagant treasures found throughout it, we can only imagine what riches and artifacts lay inside, completely untouched.
People do not dare to open it. It could cause many ugly consequences.
Number 43. The Wilkes Land Crater, Antarctica. Even though it could give us a glimpse into one of the most earth-shattering moments in history, we still can't get quite close enough to find out. Buried deep underneath an ice cap in Antarctica is an alleged impact site for an occurrence that may have led to an extinction-level event. It being buried so deep beneath the ice has made it exceptionally difficult to actually research. The deep, icy burial also resulted in a complete lack of any viable samples to test, making it difficult for any idea to ever make it past the hypothesis stage. Number 42. Bir Tawil, Egypt and Sudan. The circumstances surrounding this one piece of land accurately sum up how complicated some disputes can be. Located between Sudan and Egypt, Bir Tawil is a stretch of desert completely unowned by either country. A boundary determination in 1899 places the land in Sudan. This is the boundary Egypt recognizes.
It's 2,060 square kilometers, which is roughly the size of Kuwait.
However, a later one in 1902 places Bir Tawil in Egypt, and this is the one Sudan acknowledges. As a result, Bir Tawil has no inhabitants or official leaders. While some have come to research or attempt to claim the land as their own, the findings have been slim.
It's been claimed by several people over the years, including a Russian and an American.
It doesn't help that the temperature easily hits over 100 degrees most days, making chances of any actual exploration a risk. Number 41. La Ciudad Blanca, Honduras. Some places are so obscure that some people can't help but wonder if they really exist. Hernán Cortés relayed word-of-mouth reports of La Ciudad Blanca's existence in the 1500s, and in 1940, an explorer claimed to have brought back proof of it in Honduras.
A white city where people long dead had lived their mysterious lives.
Though the evidence for its existence is still definitely shaky, many potential sites were documented throughout the 20th century.
There are all these rumors about seeing the ramparts of a ruined city.
There's even a supposed temple and tribute dedicated to a monkey deity that may have been worshipped back in the day. Even with all the activity, a large part of the overall region hasn't even been touched. Once it's been explored, we'll have invaluable insight into one of the most elusive ancient cultures.
Wow, this is awesome.
Number 40. Aktun Tunichilmuknal, Belize. Just because it's possible to visit a location doesn't mean it's the best idea to do so. Laden with various archaeological findings, including the skeleton of a supposed sacrifice victim, Aktun Tunichilmuknal is a truly significant cave in Belize.
They're portals to the underworld, where important gods resided.
Tourists are welcome to delve inside, but doing so can be dangerous. Besides being several miles long, the only exit at the end involves pushing yourself through a tight squeeze into a large sinkhole within the jungle.
Oh, this is a massive cave.
As if that wasn't perilous enough, it's also prone to flooding thanks to the amount of rainfall received in the area. These conditions have made it hard to look into every nook and cranny of the cave, meaning there could be even more valuable artifacts tucked away.
Well, you can really see why this was the entrance to hell, huh?
That's right.
Number 39. Territory of Heard Island and McDonald Islands, Indian Ocean. Some 280 miles from the aforementioned Kerguelen Islands, there are some of the most isolated places in the entire world. Located in the middle of the Indian Ocean and cut off from civilization, they each have an active volcano residing on top of them. As if that wasn't scary enough, they've both erupted multiple times, some in recent years. A lack of any ports has also made it difficult to properly look into, with all ships having to stop and anchor themselves several miles off the coast. There's so much to properly observe, from the glacier recession to the surprising amount of species that manage to thrive here. We can only hope the volcanoes remain dormant enough for us to get a closer look. Number 38. Mary Bird Land, Antarctica. Forget having a star named after you. Having a large stretch of land dedicated to you is a true sign of love. In 1902, American officer Richard E. Byrd happened to come across an unclaimed and unrecorded territory of Antarctica, which he eventually named after his wife. He led some initial expeditions of the area throughout the 20th century, but he only scratched the surface of the 620,000 square mile stretch of land. As a result, several research camps have been set up there, each with the goal of learning more about the mysterious region. With several recorded mountains and a plethora of fascinating glaciers, there's no telling what other natural marvels are just waiting to be discovered. Number 37, Mount Roraima, South America.
Roraima, or Ruraimu, means bluish-green.
Since the very first expedition in 1838, Mount Roraima in South America has been a spectacle to locals and tourists alike. The walls are incredibly steep, requiring the use of ropes and tools to successfully scale it.
3 countries, Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, lay claim to parts of this immense formation.
It also takes several days to fully climb, and participants are required to spend a night at the base, showing how formidable and long both the journey and exploration process are. The plant and animal life in particular is heavily under-researched, thanks to a combination of new species being discovered each year and expeditions starting so recently. Soon, we may have all the answers we've been looking for, but until then, they're just outside our grasp.
Scientists estimate it is around 1.8 billion years old. That makes it one of the oldest intact geological formations on the planet.
Number 36, Morgan Island, South Carolina, USA. It may have a decent-sized population, but these citizens have no interest in sharing information about their home. Off the coast of South Carolina lies a very special territory, one populated by rhesus monkeys.
Researchers tell us this is private property, but they confirm there are at least 4,000 monkeys there.
In the late 70s and early 80s, an outbreak of herpes B led to over 1,000 of these primates being relocated to Morgan Island. There, the animals have the freedom to roam wherever they please, but as a result, we haven't been able to learn much about it.
Yeah, they're monkeys. Yeah, they're sitting on a stump there.
In fact, people are required to view it from a distance. This is to protect both the monkeys and any hopeful visitors. It's good for the monkeys, but bad for us learning more about the island.
Any way these monkeys can escape?
Sure. They swim. They're good swimmers.
Number 35, Sandy Island, New Caledonia. If an area isn't charted on a map, does it truly even exist? That is the burning question surrounding Sandy Island. It was first added to maps near the territory of New Caledonia back in the 19th century. This was accepted without further questions. Though it was quietly removed from French charts, it received widespread coverage when a ship sailed by in 2012 and saw nothing there. This led to research teams trying to discern if it had sunk into the sea or if it ever existed at all. Had they taken the initiative to look into the phantom location way back when, then we would know for sure. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and now Sandy Island remains a legend. Number 34, Mount Lico, Mozambique. Mountain climbing has become more popular across the globe in recent years, but there are some that are practically inaccessible to hopeful mountaineers. Mozambique's Mount Lico was a more recent revelation, having been identified in 2012.
It has these very smooth granite edges that rise up to over half a kilometer.
The rock walls, reaching thousands of feet above sea level, successfully prevented people from climbing it until 2018. It was then that a lush rainforest was discovered thriving within a volcanic crater, far from the prying eyes of any human.
Potentially, this forest has never had any human interference.
What adds to the mystery is that various artifacts were found, meaning that ancient civilizations may have lived there at one point. Until it's properly excavated and explored, we won't know for sure.
They could dramatically improve our understanding of how climate change is affecting our planet.
Number 33, the Mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, China. There's a chance you've heard of this iconic burial site, or at the very least seen the breathtaking terracotta statues guarding it. Qin Shi Huang may have been the first emperor of China's Qin dynasty, but his legacy truly lives on in the mystery surrounding his final resting place.
He ordered his real army to be recreated in clay and buried with him, ready to fight his battles in the afterlife.
Though certain areas of the tomb have been explored, including a bevy of bronze sculptures and the aforementioned clay army, entry inside has never been permitted.
To date, the site is still unexcavated due to dangerously high levels of mercury.
There have been plenty of good arguments made to excavate it, but experts are worried that doing so will irreparably damage the artifacts. Should they find a way to protect those precious items, then we may finally receive answers to a millennia-old question.
It's a really incredible feeling to be here, standing in a place where nobody really gets access.
Number 32, the cenotes of the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, northern Central America. It's one of evolution's masterpieces, and yet we may never be able to fully appreciate it. In ancient times, the Yucatan Peninsula was a giant coral reef. Once it was exposed to the air, it dried out. It slowly dissolved into caves and sinkholes known as cenotes. It's unknown how many there are, with estimates as high as 30,000. The ones we have been able to see are truly breathtaking, but there are so many more we don't have access to. It's been speculated that some of them will be the sites of various ancient Maya artifacts. Should we someday get to explore each and every cenote the area has to offer, then we could get some true insight into the civilization's lives. Number 31, Ilha da Queimada Grande, aka Snake Island, the coast of Brazil. Just by the name alone, you can probably guess why explorers haven't been too keen to check it out.
Eu escuto dizer isso há muitos anos, desde o tempo do meu pai. Porque a turma tem medo, tem receio, não sobe mesmo.
Off the coast of Brazil, on Ilha da Queimada Grande, otherwise known as Snake Island, the highly endangered and venomous golden lancehead pit viper reigns supreme. They became isolated there following the end of the Ice Age, and they multiplied so much that it eventually became uninhabitable and even unvisitable for humans.
Imagine these snakes as moving landmines that, instead of blowing you up, will cause your organs to liquefy in a slow, tedious death.
In an effort to keep both populations from harming one another, the Brazilian Navy banned people from visiting. Now, the only ones allowed to even step foot on the island are researchers, and even that is a risk in itself.
Normally, it's illegal to visit, but we've found one guy who has a permit.
Number 30, the Taklamakan Desert, China.
My lord, the sun's getting too high. We need to seal the doors.
Located in northwestern China, the Taklamakan Desert is one of the largest deserts in the world, about the size of Germany to be precise. In local folklore, its name is said to mean the place of no return. So, it's not exactly the prime spot for a vacation. Taklamakan's vast size and harsh conditions make it extremely difficult to explore, with the desert characterized by towering sand dunes measuring over 650 feet high, extreme temperatures, and being a desert and all, a fatal lack of water. While historically part of the Silk Road, its harsh landscape has deterred all but the most daring travelers. It is still being studied and worked on to this day, and China began a major digging project in 2023.
Still Suit is a high-efficiency filtration system. Even this early in the morning, you wouldn't survive 2 hours without one of these.
Number 29, the Aleutian Islands, the USA and Russia.
Why am I doing all the talking? It's your parents' house. Why don't you tell them where it is? Jump in.
Sitka.
Sitka.
Alaska.
Alaska.
A chain of islands stretching from Alaska to Russia, the Aleutian Islands is a remote and rugged archipelago that is totally unwelcome of human habitation. The islands are only accessible by boat or plane, so even getting to them is quite the adventure, and a costly one at that. The islands are also known for their strong volcanic and seismic activity, gale force winds, heavy rains, rugged terrain, and rough seas. So even if you get to the islands in the first place, you are met with extreme and dangerous conditions that make exploration difficult, never mind permanent habitation.
Outdoorsman. What's your fascination with all that stuff?
I'm going to Alaska.
Number 28, Mount Namuli, Mozambique.
This is the last frontier on Earth. Still alive, still wild.
Found in the Mozambique province of Zambezia is Mount Namuli, an isolated mountain rising almost 8,000 feet above sea level. Namuli is a hotspot for biodiversity, and its lower slopes are used by locals for the production of tea. However, much of its interior remains unexplored. Even getting to the mountain is extremely difficult, as it's surrounded by a dense rainforest and road access is notoriously poor. As for the mountain itself, it's composed of high vertical cliffs and rugged terrain. Thus, an expert knowledge in mountaineering is a must. The area is especially noted for its ornithological activity, but exploring it is an absolute pain in the you-know-what.
We are not entirely convinced there's anything as mystical as bird mind reading going on. But we are entirely devoted to finding out answers.
Number 27, Palmerston Island, the Pacific Ocean.
You gotta love crab. The nick of time, too. Take much more of those coconuts.
A small atoll in the Pacific Ocean, Palmerston Island is home to one of the world's smallest communities. The island was first recorded by Captain Cook in 1774 and was settled by a 19th century explorer named William Marsters. He and his Polynesian wives bore many children, and their descendants continue to occupy the island to this day. Only about 24 family members remain on Palmerston, which is extremely remote and without an airstrip. Visitors must obtain special permission to enter, and a supply boat only arrives on the island once every 3 months. It has maintained a distinct way of life that has been largely unchanged or untouched by external influences, making it one of the most unique places on Earth.
Tropical island, huh? Well, I've washed up in worse places.
Number 26, the Atacama Desert, Chile.
Welcome to Club Med. So it hasn't rained since June? It's not going to rain again until September?
By their very nature, deserts aren't exactly welcoming places. The Atacama is certainly no different. This is one of the driest places on Earth, receiving virtually no rain. We're serious. Some areas of the Atacama haven't received rain in more than 500 years. Characterized by barren landscapes, massive salt flats, limited water sources, and a total lack of vegetation, the Atacama Desert is completely inaccessible for human exploration. Its Mars-like terrain offers little sustenance for life, and venturing through a seemingly endless desert seems like quite a monumental task. A task that very few people have been willing to undergo.
You want some water? Drink.
Number 25, the Sahara Desert, North Africa.
Deserts. Scorched, desolate, hostile.
The granddaddy of all deserts, the Sahara is found in North Africa, stretching from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean and finally the Atlantic. And with a combined area of over 3.5 million square miles, it is the largest hot desert on Earth. In fact, it's larger than Brazil and nearly the size of China. The Sahara is a vast expanse of sand dunes, dry lakes and valleys, and rock, coupled with the harsh realities of extreme temperatures, lack of infrastructure and resources, and political instability in surrounding countries. Oh, and of course, there's also the punishing terrain, deadly animals, and devastating dust storms to consider. So yeah, it's a little difficult to just wander around.
Take good care of your family. The desert's not kind to humans either.
Number 24, Kayachur National Park, Guyana.
At Kayachur Falls, Steve and the team have set the ropes.
Right, I wouldn't go straight over, I would step down now onto the ladder.
Found in Guyana is Kayachur National Park, a large forested area known for its breathtaking waterfalls. This includes Arnduke Falls and the world-famous Kayachur Falls, a towering 800-foot site that is considered the world's largest single-drop waterfall. While the waterfall itself is quite popular, the surrounding area is not. For one thing, it is completely inaccessible by land, and the falls themselves can only be reached by plane via the Kayachur International Airport. The dense jungle surrounding the falls contains organisms that are totally unique to the region, and the local Amerindian tribes have lived in the area for thousands of years.
It's a single drop, 741 feet high. That's 5 times the height of Niagara.
Number 23, Antarctica, the Southern Ocean.
It's the least explored, least understood continent on Earth.
The southernmost continent of our world, Antarctica is a vast icy wasteland that covers over 5 million square miles. 5 million square miles of absolutely nothing. It is freezing, dry, and insanely windy, and its interior remains largely unexplored due to the extreme conditions. Only a small number of scientific expeditions have been able to venture into the interior of Antarctica, and even these were beset with great fatalities. Whether it's freezing to death, starving from the lack of provisions, or getting lost in the endless expanse of white, exploring Antarctica is unbelievably dangerous. There are some places humans just were not meant to go, and Antarctica is one of them.
5.4 million square miles of frozen desert, home to the driest place on Earth.
Number 22, Kamchatka, Russia.
The Russian Far East, a land of volcanic fire and subarctic ice.
a great barren peninsula in eastern Russia, Kamchatka is another place not meant for humans. Its landscape is truly something else, being a varied region with active volcanoes, geysers, and glaciers, not to mention its incredible number of brown bears and Pacific salmon. It sounds like a dream, but we have been unable to crack it. Much of Kamchatka remains unexplored due to its harsh climate, incredible remoteness, and the presence of strong volcanic activity. Vladimir Lenin offered Kamchatka to the United States in 1920, and it was left completely inaccessible following World War II when it was made a restricted military zone. Today, about 300,000 people occupy the entire area, with 2/3 living in the cities of Yelizovo and Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky.
Our journey into the forest begins here, at the foot of the 3 volcanoes that tower over Kamchatka's capital, Petropavlovsk.
Number 21, North Sentinel Island, India.
This was a journey American missionary John Chow was warned against taking. The island was off limits to protect outsiders and the tribe, which has no immunity to modern diseases.
Some places are inaccessible because of their location, some because the people there just do not want you. North Sentinel Island is both. Found in the Andaman Sea, North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, an indigenous tribe known for their great hostility towards outsiders. They have successfully resisted contact with the modern world for centuries, despite continued attempts by anthropologists and explorers. Some people have even died after reaching the island, including American missionary John Allen Chow, who was killed while preaching Christianity to the natives. The Sentinelese have remained completely isolated from the outside world, and it is currently illegal to get within 5 nautical miles of the island.
Fishermen reported they watched as tribe members shot him with arrows. Now advocates for the tribe are insisting that his body be left alone.
Number 20, Haranitsa Abyss, Haranitsa, Czech Republic. Anything labeled as an abyss is sure to kickstart the imagination. Found near Haranitsa, Czech Republic is the Haranitsa Abyss, a massive pit cave measuring 1 kilometer or over 3,000 feet deep. The cave is so mysterious that it wasn't extensively studied until the 21st century. In 2016, the cave's depth was measured at 1,553 feet, and it wasn't until 2020 that scientists made the 1 kilometer observation, making the Haranitsa Abyss the world's deepest freshwater cave. And even though scientists know it's 1 kilometer deep, the studies were conducted via geophysical techniques and not a manned excursion. As such, the Haranitsa Abyss remains completely unexplored. Number 19, Pitcairn Island, the Pacific Ocean. Officially a part of the British Overseas Territory, Pitcairn Island is nearly inaccessible. It reportedly takes over 30 hours to boat from New Zealand to Pitcairn, and legend has it that planes have never landed on the island. Pitcairn is officially populated with 47 natives, most of whom are descended from the famous Mutiny on the Bounty. A very popular story, Captain William Bligh was overthrown by Fletcher Christian and a small group of disgruntled crewmen. And this group eventually settled on Pitcairn with their Tahitian captives. Their distant descendants continue to live on Pitcairn, and the Bounty can still be seen under the waters of Bounty Bay. They remain closed off thousands of miles away from modern civilization. Number 18, Cape Melville, Australia. Found on the northeastern tip of Australia is Cape Melville, encompassing both Cape Melville National Park and Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Despite its official distinction, Cape Melville is completely isolated, with the nearest metropolis being Brisbane, an expansive 1,000 miles away. Very few people have walked and explored the Melville Range, a local rainforest and mountain range that's protected by unique granite outcrops. In 2013, a team of scientists discovered 3 new species of gecko, skink, and frog that had been living in isolation on Cape Melville for millions of years. As biologist Conrad Hoskin told AFP, quote, "The top of Cape Melville is a lost world." Number 17, Gangkhar Punsum, Bhutan. Meaning White Peak of the 3 spiritual brothers, Gangkhar Punsum is found in the Kingdom of Bhutan and is the highest unclimbed mountain in the world.
That there is the mighty Gangkhar Punsum, the highest unclimbed peak in the world.
Measuring just over 24,800 feet, Gangkhar Punsum is about 400 feet higher than runner-up Muchu Cheech in Pakistan. The mountain has remained so mysterious throughout the years that some people didn't even know where it was, including the first climbers, who got lost reading the inaccurate maps of the area. Attempts at scaling the mountain were made throughout the 80s, but none was successful.
The first attempt on Gankarpunsum was by the Japanese in 1985. Fixing ropes up the mountain, they followed an obvious gully.
However, climbing has been banned since 1994, a combination of local spiritual beliefs and a lack of rescue resources. As such, the peak of Gankarpunsum remains untouched by human hands and feet. Number 16. New Hebrides Trench, the Pacific Ocean. It's amazing how much of the ocean remains unexplored. Discovered back in 1910 by a German vessel, New Hebrides Trench measures 25,000 feet deep, 750 miles long, and 45 miles wide. And it's found between the South Pacific islands of Vanuatu and New Caledonia. Not only had the trench been completely undetected until the early 20th century, but it wasn't even explored until 2014. It was then that a scientific expedition sent down an unmanned lander equipped with cameras and captured the likes of eels, prawns, and various crustaceans. It was the first time in human history that the creatures of New Hebrides Trench had been photographed. Number 15. Northeast Greenland National Park, Greenland. Officially the world's largest island, Greenland has been inhabited for over 4,000 years. Norsemen famously colonized the southern reaches of Greenland beginning in the 10th century, and this is where most natives continue to live.
It doesn't get much more remote than this.
The country's most populous cities, Nuuk and Sisimiut, are found in the southwest. Contrasting this is the Northeast Greenland National Park, a massive area that is larger than 85% of the world's countries. No one permanently lives within the boundaries of the park, and aside from scattered research stations, it remains completely barren. That is, aside from the native mammals like musk oxen, polar bears, and Arctic foxes. Number 14. Sakha, the Republic of Sakha, or Yakutia. While nearly 1 million people live within the Russian Republic of Sakha, they are mostly concentrated within one specific area. For example, the capital city of Yakutsk holds 1/3 of the region's inhabitants, with a population of 311,000. The rest of the republic, which is roughly the size of India, is basically a frozen wasteland. Sakha has a reputation for being horrifically cold, and Yakutsk resides on continuous permafrost. The small town of Verkhoyansk once reached -90 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the coldest temperature ever recorded above the Arctic Circle. The locality of Oymyakon is also recognized as the coldest inhabited place on Earth, with a daily mean of -50 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the winter months and a record high January temperature of just 2 degrees.
The worst thing here is that you can underestimate the cold.
Number 13. The Namib, Southern Africa. Found on the western shore of Namibia is the Namib, a vast desert and UNESCO World Heritage Site that stretches nearly 1,000 miles long.
It has been said that the name Namib means emptiness, but no one really knows. And the mute sands conceal the mysteries of its age, history, and origin.
Most of the desert is inaccessible and contains very few human settlements, bar a small number of outposts and indigenous groups like the Herero and Nama Khoikhoi. A large portion of the desert is contained within the Namib Naukluft National Park, which is only accessible via specialized aircraft and dirt roads.
It's not as large as the Sahara, but it's probably the world's oldest desert.
The Namib is not a friendly place, and the historic San peoples were forced to drink the juice from the Sama melon for water. When you think of vast, barren, dry, and disgustingly hot deserts with blowing sand dunes, you think of the Namib.
The Namib is certainly a treasure in the literal sense of the word, for it's the richest source of diamonds on the planet.
Number 12. Patagonia, South America. A geographical region encompassing both Chile and Argentina, Patagonia is a wild and unpredictable landscape. To the east are barren deserts and steppes, and to the west, fjords, glaciers, and rainforests. The southwest portion of Patagonia is particularly inhospitable, owing to its dense, remote forests and massive ice fields. This includes the southern Patagonian ice field, which spans 6,500 square miles. The ice field wasn't explored until the early 20th century, and some portions remain both untouched and unseen. Included within the ice field is Bernardo O'Higgins National Park, which is rarely visited owing to its seclusion and taxing geographical features. Number 11. Fiordland National Park, New Zealand. Fiordland National Park is the largest of its kind in all of New Zealand, encompassing 4,868 square miles. The park takes its name from the many fjords that define the landscape. Deep trenches formed long ago by glaciers, the fjords cut through rainforests, mountains, and lakes to awe-inspiring effect. Despite it being a national park, much of it has yet to actually be explored due to its inaccessibility and massive size. New plant and animal species almost certainly reside there, just waiting to be discovered. Fun fact, scenes from the Lord of the Rings trilogy were actually filmed in the Fiordland.
You shall not pass!
Number 10. The Mariana Trench, the Pacific Ocean. The deepest oceanic trench on Earth. The Mariana Trench is found in the Pacific Ocean in the middle of Japan, the Philippines, and Papua New Guinea.
Where the seafloor drops to more than 6,000 meters, the pressure is so enormous that it destroys the structure of the cells of which an animal is made.
It measures over 1,500 miles in length and is at least 36,000 feet deep, making it nearly 10,000 feet taller than Mount Everest. The pressure found within the deepest parts of the trench makes exploring incredibly difficult, and only a small number of people and exploratory crafts have made the descent since the trench was found in 1875. Despite the pressure, the Mariana Trench is home to a number of creatures, including snailfish, single-celled amoebas, and amphipods measuring 1 foot in length.
We now know that there is life down there, but we still know very little about it.
Number 9. Shortsey Island, Iceland. Beautiful in a desolate sort of way, this island is a relatively new addition to our world. Shortsey was formed by volcanic eruptions between 1963 and 1967 off Iceland's southern coast. Largely free of human interference, the island is closed off to the public. Only authorized researchers have permission to land. As a newly developed island, it was initially devoid of life. Soon enough, however, different types of birds, insects, and plants began to appear on the island, and that's what makes it so exciting from a scientific perspective. Here, researchers have the unique opportunity to observe the process through which local ecosystems are established. Number 8. Underwater caves, Riviera Maya, Mexico. Riviera Maya has some of the most spectacular cave systems in the world. It's also home to some of the longest cave systems in the world, such as the Sistema Oxbel A and Sistema dos Ojos. Freshwater sinkholes, commonly referred to as cenotes, provide natural access to these networks of caves. But while the cenotes themselves are often popular with travelers, the depths of the caves are a different story entirely. The deepest and most remote parts of the caves have never been open to the public. And considering the ancient Maya civilization used to throw human sacrifices into these cenotes and possibly artifacts, who knows what's waiting to be discovered down in the depths. Number 7. Tsingy de Bemara National Park, Madagascar. Tsingy is the term used to describe the steep, pointed limestone structures and plateaus formed by groundwater erosion in this area of northwestern Madagascar. A Malagasy word, Tsingy roughly translates to where one cannot walk barefoot. As it turns out, however, the meaning applies to more than just barefoot exploration, but arguably any sort of exploration. The terrain is very difficult to navigate, presenting numerous formidable barriers to those looking to uncover the park's secrets. Which is a shame because scientists already know there are many endemic species, i.e. plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. The national park's namesake rock formations are so dense and inaccessible, in fact, that they're sometimes called forests. Number 6. Mount Mabu Rainforest, Mozambique, Africa. Hard though it might be to believe, this rainforest only came to the attention of the scientific community in the 21st century. Prior to that, it was known to locals, but its unique flora and fauna had yet to be documented.
What was interesting about this site was the surrounding land was heavily cultivated, and then the crater containing rainforest was very dense and intact. And I thought that was a little bit strange because there should be evidence of human disturbance.
This high-altitude rainforest, because of the distinctly challenging geography, requires extensive planning to visit. And because of the role Google Maps played in identifying and understanding the area, it's commonly referred to in the media as Google Forest. Though it wasn't easy to get there, upon entering the rainforest, researchers have been thrilled to discover a largely untouched ecosystem, including various previously unknown species.
When you enter into a forest, everything changes. The forest is cool, the canopy is high and it's very shady. Life is buzzing all around you.
And there are likely many more left to be discovered.
To actually find a hidden rainforest, which turns out to be the largest in southern Africa, shows that we don't have all the answers and we don't know what's out there.
Number 5. Northern Forest Complex, Myanmar. If you're looking for untarnished wilderness and/or a place where you're sure to make new discoveries, you couldn't ask for much better. Because Myanmar has been engaged in the longest civil war in history, the Northern Forest Complex has been largely off-limits for some time. The silver lining of this situation is that it served to preserve the natural forests, but the scientific community is naturally anxious to get in there and explore. And even as the country opens up, many challenges remain. The dense jungle has no roads or paths, and the terrain is rather inhospitable, with scorching heat, torrential rain, and mountain peaks thousands of feet in height. Number 4. Son Doong Cave, Vietnam. The largest known cave in the world. Han Son Doong is so massive that an entire city block could fit inside it. The cave is estimated to be somewhere between 2 and 5 million years old, but it was only discovered relatively recently. Though a local man is credited with first having found it in 1991, Son Doong Cave didn't receive international attention until 2009, when the British Cave Research Association, or BCRA, organized an expedition.
It's an absolutely amazing atmosphere, and it's hard to take in. It's breathtaking and absolutely huge.
The cave has many unexplored regions in its depths and likely holds countless wonders. As if that's not enough, collapsed portions of the cave allow in enough light that it even has its own forest.
What I want to convey is the feeling of being there, about walking through this pristine, beautiful place, this cave in Vietnam, and making people realize that places like this are part of our heritage and need to be preserved.
Number 3. The Amazon Rainforest, South America. The stuff of legend, literature, and film, the Amazon rainforest is perhaps the modern equivalent of a lost world. For one thing, the place is gigantic, measuring over 2 billion square miles.
The Amazon basin dominates the northern half of South America, stretching over 400 million hectares.
Mapping and exploring the forest has proven incredibly difficult thanks to its enormous size and density, as much of the area is coated in thick forest cover.
The world's largest rainforest is watered by the world's mightiest river, the Amazon.
Many dangerous creatures like piranhas, poison dart frogs, jaguars, and various forms of deadly snakes can also be found within the rainforest, which further deters intricate exploration. In fact, the rainforest is so unknown and unexplored that previously uncontacted tribes were found within an area known as Vale do Javari in 2011.
They're the ones that took the photos during a recent flyover of the Vale do Javari region of the Amazon.
Number 2. The Star and Nakanai Mountains, Papua New Guinea. Because of the various geographical barriers, much of Papua New Guinea is, from a scientific perspective, unexplored. Entire forests of flora and fauna have yet to be documented. As such, it's likely home to wonders that we can only imagine. The Star Mountains, for example, are especially hard to visit due to the natural rock formation known as the Hindenburg Wall, a limestone barrier that rises to approximately 1 mile above sea level. The Nakanai Mountains, for their part, are so remote and undisturbed that in 2009, researchers found approximately 200 species never before seen in just 60 days. Over the last few decades, researchers have found upwards of 1,000 new species on or around the island of New Guinea.
I mean, the area in Papua New Guinea provides a key watershed for thousands of people who depend on its fisheries and natural resources and, of course, most basically water.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Devon Island, Canada. At 21,331 square miles, Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island on the planet. To put that in context, it's only about 500 square miles smaller than the country of Croatia. But that's not all Devon has going for it. The island's environment is remarkable in that it actually closely resembles that of Mars. Because of the uniquely intense conditions, NASA uses this polar desert to train for manned missions to the Red Planet.
This is a place that is barren.
Vast, intimidating.
You're rambling through areas that are quite dangerous.
It's isolated and remote and rocky, just like the surface of Mars is.
Though there is a research station that's run by the Arctic Institute of North America, no one lives here permanently. In fact, the conditions are so inhospitable that only a small number of birds and mammals can survive, as well as extremophiles, organisms that thrive in extreme environments. Which of these places do you hope gets fully explored first? Let us know in the comments below.
My legs and back ache, but I spare a thought for our porters.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.